Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today we have another episode brought to you guys by Blade Ops. Be sure to look them up for all of your knife and EDC needs. And today we're taking a look at a Spyderco that it really got by me. It's definitely more on the budgety side, but I'm a big fan of this design, and I hope to see more from this idea right here. This here is the Spyderco Astute. Now, before I go any further into this review, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in today. If you like what you see, please do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I will continue to bring you the content. Now, let's take a look at some overall specs on this knife right here. We have an overall length coming in at 6.875 inches, a blade length coming in at 3 inches with a blade thickness at a somewhat slightly thinner 110 thousandths. Blade material on this guy, very budgety, 8CR13 MOV, but I will say one thing for 8CR13 MOV on a Spyderco. Spyderco, in my opinion, is probably the best in the US when it comes to production heat treating, like budgety knives, or they're making high volume knives. I do think their heat treatment is probably the best now. It's just, I've always been very impressed with it. So when you're getting 8CR13 on a Spyderco, I think you're probably getting the best 8CR13 you can get. So yeah, take that for what it's worth. But a drop point style blade with a very nice full flat grind, a handle length coming in at 3.875 inches, and a handle thickness at 408 thousandths. As you can see, that typical Spyderco G10 for the handle material, and a liner lock locking mechanism with the user of a right or left, tip up or tip down. You have the 4-way option, the Spyderco Classic. It's like they're the only ones that do that. It's kind of cool, but I would never carry my knife tip down. But some people do, so it's nice to have that option. A weight coming in at 2.6 ounces and a price of 55 bucks. So, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people probably aren't too keen about spending 55 bucks on 8CR13 MOV, but I gotta say, man, this design it really just did it for me. Like when I saw the blade shape, I saw the handle shape, it works really well. I wanted to get it in hand, and I'm glad I did, because it's actually a really impressive little blade. We got a behind the edge reading coming in at 16 thousandths. So anytime you got an edge reading in the teens, in the whatever teen thousandths, and it's got a Spyderco full flat grind, it's going to be a slicer. So you got some nice sliciness in this blade. I think a great blade shape. I really like the look of this blade. It not only works with the handle, it's just a very nice, very clean drop point blade. I do think it needs some jimping up here. I would love to see some jimping. Jimping would really be perfect right here. I can't believe there isn't, probably just because it's a budget version. We'll get to my thoughts on that here in a second. But the handle itself is also just a very, very comfy handle. It's, for as small of a handle as this is, it fits in my hand perfect. And I have kind of big hands, whatever. They're not like thick hands, but they're just a little wider, so they're somewhat bigger. But man, oh man, this knife just feels really good in my hand. I don't need to choke up because I'm already close to the blade. I just really like how it sits and how it feels. Very, very good feeling in hand. I would definitely like to see a smaller clip. That's just a full-size Spyderco clip, which is so unnecessary. I don't think Spyderco has a smaller clip that's the same style, though. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember seeing one, because the little Native's got a wire clip. Maybe they do. Maybe they do. I don't know. I don't handle a whole lot of real budgety Spydercos. Not because I don't want to, just because I love the Paramilitary 2 and the Para 3 and the Shaman and all the, the higher end or mid end ones. I love those ones so much. It's hard for me to get too much into the budgety part of Spyderco, but this would be a great way to get into Spyderco for someone. I will say the actual, so it has very good liner lock access, which is very easy to get into. And when you go to close that blade, this is a rather stiff knife. Now, again, this is out of the box, so maybe you can, I'm sure it'll probably smoothen up some, but the liner lock itself in general is just, it's a rather stiff liner lock, like a strong liner lock, I guess is the best way to put it. Stiff kind of sounds wrong, but it's a stronger liner lock, which is kind of nice. It's a very safe knife, of course. You can easily middle finger flick. If you're good at middle finger flicking, with it being so stiff, you do kind of have to flick a little harder. But for me, I do consider that pretty easy. The thumb flick is very doable. You just have to get used to it because it does take a little force. And it does have a rather surprising detent. And once you break that detent, you still have to flick it a little hard enough to kind of push through the stiffness in the pivot. Again, that's something that could probably be fixed, hopefully without risking blade centering, because the blade centering on this is like on point. Like for a budget Spyderco, that's like perfect blade centering. So very nice there. But yeah, I like this. I really do. I'm a fan of this knife. I'm half tempted to buy it, even though I really, 8CR does nothing for me. And I love my Para 3 and Para 2. And oh, by the way, I didn't do size comparisons. What's wrong with me? You guys should have said something. Come on, speak up. Jeez. Let me get a couple here. I actually have them ready here. I was ready to pull out this one right here, the Spyderco Para 3, which is a great comparison, as well as the Civivi Elementum right here. These two tell you all you need to know about the size of this knife. It's got a little more curvature in the handle, but pretty much lines up perfectly with the Para 3 as well as the Elementum. So there's your size comparisons. Next time, don't let me go so long without saying something. Gosh, pay attention. Aren't I funny? But anyway, okay. The Spyderco Astute, it's a good one. It's a good one. If you're okay with 8CR, if you collect Spyderco, like if you collect Spyderco, you should definitely own this knife. You probably already do if you collect, but yeah, this is a really good one. Very underrated. I would love to see a slightly bigger version with a compression lock, with S45 or S30, whatever they want to throw on it, and put it in their more, kind of mid to higher end lineup. Take it out of the budget realm, because I like this design a whole lot. And I would love to see it with a compression lock, because I'm a big fan of the compression lock with a better steel. And yeah, I would be all in, all in. Maybe just make the blade, I don't know, maybe a quarter to a half inch bigger and get the handle just a little bigger. It would still feel probably just as good as it does now, probably a little better. Yeah, I would be all in on that. That would be awesome. You can call it the Spyderco Big Astute. Yeah, guys. Okay, let's all reach out to Spyderco and be like, we want the Big Astute really bad. It needs to happen. I think it would be awesome. I really like this knife. I would highly recommend it. I really would. I like it. Some knives just rub off on me. Some of them just, they're winners for me. And this is one. Big fan of this. Spyderco Astute. Let me know what you guys think of this. Really hope you enjoyed this one. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, I'm out.